What is stress? Merriam-Webster defines stress as a physical force or pressure. It's a state of mental tension caused by problems. And finally, it's something that causes feelings of worry and anxiety. The last two definitions by Merriam-Webster are specifically speaking about emotional stress, but the first definition is how it feels to have emotional stress. It feels as though you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and the pressure seems to build and build. The endocrine system is a very complex body system that works at regulating hormones. Stress has an effect on the HPA axis, which includes the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. Your hypothalamus is located inside your brain, the pituitary is located just below it, and the adrenal glands are small cone-shaped glands, that sit atop both of your kidneys. The HPA axis is a loop, so when one component is set off, it activates the next and the next down the line. Stress tells the hypothalamus to relay information to the pituitary, which in turn secretes the ACTH hormone. ACTH then calls out to the adrenal glands, and they respond by secreting epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone that actually makes your body produce more food so that it can sustain itself through this stressful environment, so that it can stay fed. HPA axis is an excellent system for use in an immediate stressful situation, but it's a tiring and potentially fatal long-term solution for ongoing stress management. Increased levels of cortisol lead to plaque buildup in the artery walls. This isn't good. It can lead to high blood pressure. High blood pressure can then lead to heart attack, stroke, and kidney damage. All of those can be deadly. Extended use of the HPA axis on its loop of hormone secretion also leads to DNA damage. Our bodies can't heal themselves quite as quickly, and our bodies go into decompensation. Blood sugar levels decrease, so therefore food for our body is decreasing, and with it our bodies do not have enough energy to keep them going. This entire cycle is something that Hans Seil dubbed general adaptive syndrome. What he talked about was that stress starts and our bodies go into general alarm. So that's when I was talking about the HPA axis starting in its loop. He said then that general alarm turns into resistance, and that resistance are those defenses, all of those hormones starting, that cortisol working, increasing our blood sugar levels. But then eventually that cycle turns into exhaustion, and that's when our bodies just can't keep up producing those high blood sugar levels, so those start to decrease. We get tired. We can't fight off infection as well, and we could even die. So if that wasn't enough reason to start managing your long-term stress, I mean, what is? So what are we talking about here? What is it that we face on a regular basis here at work that contributes to our overall stress? Workload, too much to do and not enough time to do it in. Interpersonal relationships, customers calling, coworkers, bosses. The list seems endless some days, and there are endless amounts of problems that can arise just having to do with other people. Morale, are you fulfilled in your job? And something so simple as sound. Not being able to find a quiet spot to work in is enough to stress you out to the max. When I get stressed at work, it usually has to do with too much to do in what I think is not enough time to do it in. These are also the days that I have the phone ringing off the hook. I have to cover somebody else's job because they're at a dentist appointment, and my whole office is just swarming with people because we're running so many classes. When I do get a chance to sit down at my desk and do the work that I'm paid for, it's just too loud, there's too much going on, and I can't concentrate. I can tell you a few tricks that I've devised over the past years, but let's start with one that is not the best solution. I know we all do it, but taking a sick day isn't going to help you at all. Running away from the stress, hoping it will just go away, won't work. What will be the result is that you'll have a pile twice as big on your desk when you walk in as you did when you left the day before. It doesn't work. Trust me. What does work? Count to 10. Take a few deep breaths. Put your earbuds in or noise-canceling headphones and get down to organizing your work into manageable chunks. Still feeling the pressure? Roll your shoulders, stand up, stretch your body, take a walk around the parking lot or up the road or out to your car. Take a break, but only for a few minutes. These small but important physical breaks will help you get back on track and put your mind in some sort of order. Is the stress still too big? Then talk about it. Tell your spouse, tell your boss, tell the cashier at the grocery store. Just get it off your chest and out of your mind so that you can free it up to do what it needs to do. If you can't talk about it, try writing it down. Work out the problem with pen to paper. Type it up or whisper it into your pillow. This will give you the opportunity to evaluate the problem and maybe get some helpful input at solving it. By taking the time to say it out loud or write it down, you're enabling yourself time to manage the stress, to break it down, as I said, into manageable chunks. You could also start flipping that stress and instead of seeing it as something scary or something to not look forward to, think of it as a challenge. Some traits that you can work on including into your bag of tricks will actually help deal with stress more easily. The first is optimism. If you have a sunny outlook on life, you see the world through rose-colored glasses and view the glasses half full, you're more likely to be able to cope with that stress. Fulfilling your own prophecy or self-efficacy will also help. It basically works under the premise that you think you can do something, so therefore you do it. Like the little engine that could. Lastly, there's hardiness. Being hardy means that you're built of strong stuff. You're able to weather the storm, cope with the stress, and even grow as a person in the process. There is no such thing as a stress-free life. But working through it, managing it, and moving on from the stress will make you happier, healthier, and have a longer life.